Hello students, this video is for the subject Power Electronics and PLC. Okay, and this is for 5th semester Electrical and Electronics Diploma Engineering students. So let's start from Turner methods of SCR. So we already discussed about different Turner techniques of SCR like forward voltage triggering method, gate triggering method. So today we will start from dB by dt triggering. Okay, today we will cover dB by dt triggering, temperature triggering and light or temperature triggering and light triggering. So let's start from dB by dt triggering. Discuss about dB by dt triggering. Okay, so in the dB by dt triggering, in the dB by dt triggering, what happens that when forward voltage applied across anode and cathode of a device, the junction J1 and J3 are forward biased and junction J2 becomes reverse biased. This reverse biased junction J2 has the characteristics similar with the capacitor. Why this characteristics is similar with the capacitor? Because of the charges existing across the junction J2. So if a forward voltage is suddenly applied, a charging current will flow, tending to turn on the device. Okay, so if the voltage impressed across the device is denoted by V and the charge is Q and the capacitance is Cj, then Ic is the charging current. The Ic is the dq by dt, which is totally q is equal to cb. So we apply q is equal to cb and the derivative of cj into v gives you this term cj into dv by dt plus v into dcj by dt. So here ic, so here this term tend to be constant and negligible because Cj is a constant and derivative of Cj is very negligible. So V into dCj by dt is a negligible part. So totally Ic depends on Cj into dV by dt. That means charging current is depends on the rate of change of voltage across the device. So if the rate of change of voltage across the device is large, the device may turn on even the voltage appearing across the device is small. That means if we apply the voltage across anode and cathode and that voltage is small, then after then also the device may turn on due to the charging current because IC depends on dB by dt. So I will discuss all these type of triggering in details also. Just briefly I am telling you about the dB by dt triggering and temperature triggering and light triggering. So the next part is that thermal triggering or temperature triggering. Temperature triggering means uh, means the width of depletion layer of the thyristor decreases on the increase of junction temperature. So how the temperature increases and how the width of depletion layer of the junction decreases, let's discuss with this. Okay, so if a thyristor is applied with the voltage, means the when the voltage is applied across the thyristor anode and cathode, then what happens, it is now in the forward blocking mode. At this mode, through the thyristor there is only a small amount of leakage current. Okay, so if we increase the applied voltage, then the voltage across the junction J2 reached up to the breakdown voltage, that is known as VBO, forward breakdown voltage, at which the junction J2 breaks down. That means avalanche breakdown reached. So at this moment voltage is higher. So voltage and due to the presence of leakage current, gives at higher level of voltage and with the presence of small amount of leakage current. This gives rise some amount of power dissipation, or this gives rise some amount of heat dissipation. Due to this heat, the junction temperature will increases. So here the junction temperature increase means again what happens? Again the leakage current increase. If again leakage current increase means again the power loss increases, that means again the heat increases, again the junction temperature increases. Then again junction temperature increase means again the leakage current increase. So this total process is a cumulative process. Okay, so once this process is informed, is continued, then the thyristor may turn on. Okay, so this type of triggering is the known as thermal triggering or temperature triggering. Because of the rise of temperature, the thyristor can turn on. Okay, I will discuss this also in detail after this brief discussion part. And the last turn on method is the light triggering. In the light triggering method, what happens? You already know that in the gate triggering method, we apply gate signal, and after applying the gate signal, thyristor can turn on and switches from off state to on state. And once we apply IG, the avalanche breakdown at J2 junction occurs much lower level value than the VBO. So here totally thyristor turn on depends on the magnitude of gate current. So in light triggering method, if we make a recess or niche in the inner P layer or near to the gate terminal, then what happens? At that niche, through optical fiber, if we irradiate some light beam, uh, if we irradiate some light beam, then through that light beam some kind of charges, some kind of charge carriers. Okay, some kind of charge carriers are means generated. Some kind of charge carriers are generated in inner P layer. Okay, so this also happens when we apply gate signal. Once gate current will flow, then also some kind of charge carriers flooded towards the inner P layer. Likewise, if we irradiate some kind of light beam, then what happens? Charge carriers are generated in the inner P layer. Once the charge carrier generated, then what happens? The width of depletion layer near junction J2 will reduce. Okay, once the J2 junction depletion layer reduces, then an avalanche breakdown occur, and J2 and conduction starts starts at junction J2, and J1 and J3 are already in forward bias. So through all the junctions, conduction may start. Okay, so here if we apply light intensity at inner P layer, then it require less magnitude of gate current. Okay, this is called recess or niche, and here light beam is irradiated and here the light beam has some particular wavelength or some particular intensity. Okay, if the light intensity is higher, then the magnitude of the requirement of the gate signal, that means the magnitude of the gate signal, is minimum. If the intensity of light is minimum, then the intensity of if the intensity of light is minimum, then the requirement of gate signal is greater. So it totally depends, and if we use this kind of triggering method, then very less amount of gate signal, at very less amount of gate signal, thyristor can turn on. Okay, so we can turn on thyristor by using gate signal only, by using light radiation only, or by using both gate signal and light triggering method. So this light triggering method application, where this light triggering method is the SCR device where the light triggering method is applied is known as LASCR, light activated SCR. And this kind of devices mainly used in HVDC power system, transmission system. Okay, so this method of triggering also explained in elaborate way in the later part. Okay, so just the brief description about dB by dt triggering, temperature triggering, light triggering or thermal triggering you understood clearly. So let's go to the detailed explanation part. So let's start with the thyristor turn-on methods. So under thyristor turn-on methods, we already discussed forward voltage triggering methods and gate triggering methods. So the next triggering method is the dB by dt triggering method. In dB by dt triggering method, how the thyristor turn on, how the thyristor switches from off state to on state, we will discuss on in this topic. Okay, so under the dB by dt triggering method, we know that with forward voltage across anode and cathode of a device, the junction J1 and J3 are forward biased and junction J2 becomes reverse biased. So to understand this, first see this layer diagram of the thyristor. See, PN 4 layers, anode, cathode, gate, 3 junctions J1, J2, J3. So when we apply forward voltage across anode and cathode, that means anode positive, cathode negative. So when anode is positive with respect to cathode and gate open, J1 forward biased, J2 reverse biased, J3 forward biased. Okay, so with the forward voltage across anode and cathode of a device, J1 forward biased, J2 reverse biased, J3 forward biased. So this reverse bias across junction J2 has the characteristics of capacitor. How? See, if J2 is the reverse bias, that means here is the more width of depletion layer. Depletion layer means what? Charge stored across this junction. That means if this is N layer, here charge is the plus, because in N layer majority charge carrier is electrons, minority charge carrier are holes. Similarly in P layer majority charge carrier are holes, minority charge carrier are electrons. So minority charge are stored here. So J2 has the characteristics of capacitor due to the charges existing across the junction. Due to this charge, due to these charges, J2 junction has the characteristics of capacitor, because capacitor is like this. Okay, if this is positive plate, this is negative plate, then this is the capacitor. So this has similar characteristics like capacitor. Okay, if the forward voltage is suddenly applied, if the forward voltage is suddenly applied, a charging current will flow through this device, tending to turn on the device. How? If we apply forward voltage, or if we apply suddenly a forward voltage across anode and cathode, then charging current will flow through this junction. Okay, how the charging current will flow through this junction? because once the charging current flow through this junction, then J2 becomes conducting, and J1 and J3 already in forward bias, then the total device is in conducting mode, and the device switches from off state to on state. Okay, so how the J2, the conduction or the J2 junction becomes conducting, or the J2 or the charging current flow through the junction J2. Let's see. If the voltage across the voltage applied across the device denoted by this VAK, I will denote it V. Okay, and the charge denoted by charge charge denoted by Q, voltage denoted by V, and capacitance, junction capacitance denoted by Cj. Then charging current IC is equal to, normally you know, current through the capacitor, charging current, that is charging current is dq by dt. So q is equal to cb, so d by dt of cjb. So its derivative is cj dv by dt plus v dcj by dt. Okay, so the rate of change of junction capacitance may be negligible. Rate of change of junction capacitance may be negligible because Cj value is almost constant. That's why dCj by dt is negligible. Okay, so this term is totally negligible. So IC is totally depend on this part, Cj into dV by dt. That is IC is equal to Cj into dV by dt. So if the rate of change of voltage across the device, this part, if the rate of change of voltage across the device is large, then the IC is also increases, and once IC increases, that means charging current flow through the device. So once charging current flow through the device, then the device may turn on, and it, even the voltage appearing across the device is small. That means this voltage. Okay, the voltage appearing across the device is small, but the rate of change of voltage is large. That's why IC is large. And once IC is large, then the device turn on from off state to on state. Okay, so this is all about the dB by dt triggering. So the next triggering part is the temperature triggering. Okay, so what happens under temperature triggering? Let's see. What happens across temperature triggering? So under temperature triggering also, see, this is P, N, P, N, anode, cathode, this is gate. J1, J2, J3. So during forward blocking mode means anode positive, cathode negative, gate open, and J1, due to this anode positive, cathode negative, J1 forward bias, J2 reverse bias, J3 forward bias. So during forward blocking mode, most of the applied voltage is this voltage. Most of the applied voltage appears across reverse bias junction J2. See, whatever the voltage we apply across anode and cathode, that total voltage will blocked by the junction J2 because J2 is reverse bias. This junction will not allow the flow of current, okay, or flow of charge carriers. Okay, so during the forward blocking mode, most of the applied voltage appears across this reverse bias junction J2 because this at these junctions there is depletion layer. The width of depletion layer is large here, so this voltage across junction J2 associated with leakage current may rise the temperature. I already told you during the reverse blocking mode there will be, this is the characteristics IA, this is VA. So forward blocking mode means this part off state, at this part there is some leakage current. Okay, there is some leakage current. So when during the forward blocking mode, this is forward blocking mode. So during the forward blocking mode, all the total applied voltage appears across junction J2. So here junction J2 blocking voltage is more, and at this state there is some leakage current is also there. So when voltage across junction J2 associated with this current may rise the temperature at this junction because voltage and current product gives you the power loss means elimination of or the formation or dissipation of heat. Okay, so due to this heat what happens, temperature arise. See, temperature arise. So once temperature arise, again the leakage current, flowing of leakage current also increase. So temperature increase means leakage current increase. Once leakage current increase, I increase means this part, I increase means power loss again increases, again heat formation increases, again temperature increases, again current increases, then again this power loss increases. So this total is a cumulative process, and through this process thyristor may turn on at some higher temperature. Okay, at some higher temperature. So this type of triggering method is known as temperature triggering or thermal triggering. Understood clearly? What is the gist, what is the contents of the thermal triggering? So the next part is the light triggering. What happens in the light triggering? See, what happens in the light triggering? Light triggering. So for light triggered SCR, a recess or niche is made in the inner P layer. A recess or niche is made in the inner P layer. So see, the diagram is like this, the layer diagram. P, N, P, N, anode, cathode, this is gate. So here is one niche. Like J1, J2, J3. So for light triggering method, a recess. This is called recess or niche. So one recess, a recess or niche is made in the inner P layer. This is the inner P layer. When this recess is irradiated, when this recess is irradiated, free charge carriers, that means holes and electrons, are generated just like when gate signal is applied between gate and cathode. So this is again in first, this is again in forward blocking mode. That means anode positive, cathode negative, J1 forward biased, J3 forward biased, J2 reverse biased. So here one recess is formed in the inner P layer and the light is irradiated at this recess. Once light is irradiated at this recess, free charge carriers, holes and electrons are generated just like the gate triggering method when gate signal is applied between gate and cathode. The pulse of light of appropriate wavelength is guided by optical fiber. So light is irradiated, light is irradiated through optical fiber. That means here is connection of this part, connection of at this part, connection of optical fiber. Through the optical fiber, uh, uh, a appropriate wavelength, a light of appropriate wavelength is irradiated at this recess. Okay, so if the intensity of light thrown on this recess exceeds a certain value, then forward biased SCR is turned on. Such thyristor is known as light activated SCR. Light activated SCR. Light activated SCR. So now you clearly understood when we irradiate some appropriate wavelength of light at this recess through optical fiber, then there is generation of the free charge carrier at this part. Generation of charge carrier means holes and electrons. So after the generation of charge carrier at this junction, the width of depletion layer at junction J2 is reduced, and once the depletion layer is reduced, then at J2 avalanche breakdown occur. Once avalanche breakdown occur at junction J2, J1 and J3 already in forward biased mode. So then current can flow through this path from anode to cathode through this junction J1, J2, J3. Current can flow, charge carriers can flow, and then thyristor may turn on. This type of thyristor is known as light activated SCR. So LA-SCR may be triggered with light source or with gate signal. See here I draw both light and gate point is there. That means LASCR may be triggered with light source as well as with gate signal. Sometimes combination of both is also applied. Uh, so what happens at the combinational mode? The gate is biased with voltage or current slightly less than that required to turn it on, because we use some irradiation of light irradiations, or and also use some gate signal. So here the requirement of the gate signal as compared to the gate triggering method is lesser, because light, here is irradiation of light intensity, light. So due to this irradiation, the gate signal requirement is slightly less than that required in the gate triggering method. So once we applied both voltage, both once we applied both gate signal and light signal to turn on the SCR, then the SCR can turn on at much slightly less amount of gate signal. So so um, The light intensity required to turn on the SCR depends upon the voltage bias given to the gate. See, once a beam of light is directed at inner P layer, the voltage bias required at the gate signal is minimum. That means the gate signal is proportional to the light intensity. That means higher the voltage Vg, higher the voltage, lower is the light intensity. Lower is the light intensity. If we increase the gate voltage, the intensity of light will decreases. If the light intensity is increases, then the gate voltage value is decreases. Okay, so so light triggered thyristor have been used in um, presently. The application of light trigger SCR is in the field of high voltage DC current application. Its application is HVDC, high voltage DC line. The LASCRs are used. This is the high voltage transmission system. In the high voltage transmission system, LASCR have been used. Okay, so what happens at at this field, series or parallel combination of LASCRs are used. Here, the light triggering has the advantages of electrical isolation between power and control circuit. So the application is HVDC transmission system, and its advantages is light triggering has the advantages of electrical isolation between power and control circuit. So light triggering can isolate can give electrical isolation between power and control circuit. Power circuit means the total circuit. Control circuit means the controlling mechanism part which control the device turn on turn off methods. Okay, so clearly understood about the light triggering method. That means how much amount of light is irradiated at this recess, and how much gate voltage is given to this gate circuit. They both are interrelated. That means if the light intensity is higher, the amount of gate signal is lower, and if the gate signal is higher, the amount of light intensity requirement is minimum. Okay, so we can use only light intensity to turn on the device, or we can use only gate signal with the to turn on the device, or we can use both light and gate signal to turn on the device. So by using the light triggering methods, our requirement of gate signal is reduced. So by at the minimum level of gate signal, we can turn on the thyristor by using light intensity or by using light triggering method. Understood clearly?